Okay, greetings one and all, and welcome to what has to be. I can't remember which week this is, but this is probably like our third or maybe fourth time doing this. This is just like a little study thing that we're doing, and we just want to go over some material for what we're doing right there, right? So before we move on, is there anything that in particular that you would like for me to go over, or that you want us to look over, that you may just want us to take a look at before we um move on? Anyone? Anything you want us to look at in particular? Anyone? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. No one? Leonie, Matthew, Sierra, Travis, anything? Ali,
No.
Nothing.
anything? Nothing in particular?
Not right now.
No, okay, okay. All right, no problem. So, Sierra, nothing in particular? You just want us to just move forward like that, or your subject in particular?
No, nothing in particular. Just normal.
Just normal. Okay, okay. All right, no problem. All right, so let's go. Let's go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over the tutorial. And we can see how far we get. Last time we made it to I think question 9. And so today we're gonna just go over some tutorial questions and then I just want us to understand it because sometimes we just be doing these things and we don't understand it. So I just want us to get a good understanding of what's happening and stuff like that. So we're gonna start from question number 1 and we're gonna continue to as far as we get. But I really want to focus on the um the graph, what has all the parabola looking like stuff. I really want to focus on that so we get a good understanding of what's happening with the pressure, atrium, ventricle, and stuff like that. Okay, so let's start. Some of these we've already done, so we can go over them quickly, and then for the ones that we haven't touched yet, we're gonna um we're gonna take some time over them, right? So the first question that we have here is so obviously we have X and Y, and the question says which one is the artery, which one is the vein? Can anyone answer this one? Which one is the artery? Which one is the vein? I think we
Is
did.
it A?
Say it again.
Is it A?
A. Do we agree with her? So Yara said A. Do y'all agree?
Yeah. Yes, in.
Okay. Ali, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Why you agree? What you think?
Because the size of the lumen, well, and the
Yeah,
thickness of
very good. So the lumen is which lumen is bigger? Which lumen
the
is big?
the vein, the Y is
Yeah,
big.
the vein is bigger. So obviously the vein would have a larger lumen, and then the artery would have a smaller lumen. What is another giveaway besides the lumen being um one being small, one being large? What's another giveaway?
The thickness of the
The
wall.
the thickness, very good. So as you can see, the wall is thick, right? So it has thick muscular walls, and for this one, it's thin, right? So it's thin walls, right? So that's definitely a giveaway. So that definitely is going to be A. X is the artery, and Y is the vein because it has thick walls and vein has thin walls, right? What other things we know that we could distinguish between arteries and veins besides thickness and size of the lumen? What other thing we know about?
The veins have valves, whereas the arteries do not have valves.
Very good. Veins have valves, arteries don't have valves. Anything else? Anything else? Functionally, what do we know about the function of the artery versus the function of the vein?
Artery carry blood away from the
Yeah.
heart.
Very good. Artery carries blood away from the heart. What type of blood though?
It typically carries oxygenated blood away from the heart, but it also has the pulmonary artery that carries deoxygenated blood away from the heart towards the lungs.
Yeah, so the pulmonary artery would be the only artery that has the deoxygenated one. But in general, arteries carry oxygenated blood. And in general, veins carry the oxygenated blood toward the heart, right? Okay, so that's that one. So we got this one. Let's move on to question number 2. And question number 2 says, so for question number 2, we're looking at obviously this graph. So this one is pressure on the vertical y-axis, and this one we have on the x-axis we have the blood vessels and the direction of flow. So we have I, double I, triple I, and 4. Which one of these is correct? Is it A, B, C, or D?
C.
C. Yes, C is correct. Ali, do you know why C is correct? C is correct, but do you know why?
I guess it's because of the like the vessel size related to the pressure.
Okay, explain that. What you mean?
Like so the blood pressure would be highest in region 1
Mm-hmm.
because the arteries could carry the most blood at high pressure.
Yeah, high pressure.
Yeah. And then well in region 2 it would be the arteriole capable.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
with the arterioles, so you know that the capillary they connect arteries and veins. So you know they have to be in the middle. They have to be in the middle between the arteriole and the venule. So we have arteries first because you know
Okay.
they carry, like you say, they carry blood at high pressure, and we know that this blood is going to the cells. In order for it to get to the cells, it need to go from the arteries to the arterioles because they're smaller, right? And then it's going to go to the capillaries, right? And that's where you're going to have diffusion taking place. Then after that, it's going to go to the venules, right? So like you're saying, it's talking about the order in which we have the pressure. So the highest pressure obviously is going to be in the arteries, then it's going to be in the arterioles, then it's going to be in the capillaries, then it's going to be in the venules. So this is just talking about how much pressure this thing could hold, right? Or each structure could hold. So the correct answer is definitely going to be C. All right. Maria, do you understand this? Where's Maria? Are we good? Maria
Yeah.
Francis? Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next question. Shekinah, are you there? Shekinah, can you hear me? Where's Shekinah? Shekinah. No? Okay, so which label structure takes oxygenated blood to all parts of the body? Which one y'all have for this one? Shekinah says, hola. You get them. Okay, good. Which one y'all have for this one? I, double I, triple I, or IV?
I have A.
You have A. Very good.
Maybe I.
Definitely BI. It definitely BI. Because I is like I have here, it's pointing to the which structure? Which structure is I pointing to?
The aorta.
The aorta. And the aorta is the largest, what?
The
The
largest artery.
largest artery. Very good. What is the largest vein?
The superior and inferior vena cava.
Which one is larger? Between the inferior and superior. Which one is larger?
The
Um,
superior.
No, not the superior.
Inferior
Well,
vena
you're
cava
right.
is larger.
Yeah.
Yeah, the inferior is larger. Yeah, the
Okay.
inferior is larger. Okay, so cool. Okay, cool. Now we move on to what number we on now? Sorry, number 4. Okay, so it says in number 4, where is the mammalian heartbeat initiated? The initiation of the heartbeat.
Is
Where
it
would we
D?
have that?
It will be D.
It would be D. Very
These.
good. The sino arterial node. So D. All right, next we have number 5. Which chamber of the heart shows greatest pressure changes during one cardiac cycle? This one is easy.
Is it C?
C, ventricle. Ventricle. Why are you saying ventricle?
I would say the left ventricle because that is where the oxygenated blood is pushed through to the artery the aorta to then be pushed through the arteries to the rest of the body. So that would need the greatest
Hmm.
amount of pressure as it goes through the entire body and the tissue.
Definitely. Y'all did the lab with the heart, like with the sheep?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Okay. You all saw how one side was bigger than the other. I don't know if you all noticed that, but I don't know if you did. You all notice that? I don't know if you all did. But one side was bigger. The left side was actually a little bit more muscular than the right hand side. That is because the left hand side is gonna, especially the left ventricle, is gonna be under greater pressure because it's up to squeeze, right? And so that means that, and it has to conjure up enough pressure such that it could push the blood throughout all the parts of the body. So it has to have a big contraction, and so it's gonna be muscular because it needs to exert that pressure to push the blood out. All right, so definitely gonna be the left ventricle for this one. Okay. Okay, so next one we have dissociation curve. So it says that the graph shows the effect of different concentrations of carbon dioxide on oxygen dissociation curves. So on the vertical y-axis, we have saturation of Hb with oxygen, and on the horizontal x-axis, we have oxygen concentration. And so it says, which of the above curves would you expect to represent the behavior of hemoglobin in the presence of the highest concentration of carbon dioxide? Which one you all have? I, double I, triple I, or IV?
It'll be IV, so D.
IV. Okay, Sierra said IV. Rebecca, can you hear me, Rebecca? Where's Rebecca?
Hey, I'm here, but I just joined, so
Okay, no problem. I just Helen, just Helen. I know. Um, so Ali, do you know why, or Leonie or Maria, do y'all know why it's IV?
No.
Could
No.
you explain that a little bit?
Go ahead, Ali. You want to try explain it?
No, I was saying if maybe someone could explain it a little bit. I'm not
A
too
little,
sure.
you're not too sure? Okay. Anyone want to explain it? Why you think it's IV? How do we know it's IV?
Is it IV because when you have the highest concentration of carbon dioxide, that means that you would have the affinity for hemoglobin will change for oxygen, so that will be the lowest affinity for oxygen as the concentration of carbon dioxide increases. So therefore, it will be IV because that one, the curve is the highest to the right. It shifted the most to the right, so that means it will have the least amount of oxygen concentration. As the saturation with oxygen becomes saturation with the carbon dioxide, as the carbon dioxide changes the affinity for oxygen in
Okay.
the hemoglobin.
Very good answer. Very good answer. Um, so basically what she is trying to say is that um well hemoglobin is kind of funny. So where is Ali? Let me see if I can explain this to you. Like how she's trying to explain, right? So hemoglobin is very particular. So that's the first thing you need to understand about hemoglobin, right? It's very special, to say the least, right? Hemoglobin has a has some very simple set of rules. It only gonna hold one of them at a time. All right. So let's say, right, we have a high amount of oxygen. So let's say this is oxygen, right? So now remember, hemoglobin could carry oxygen and it could also carry carbon dioxide, right? So, but hemoglobin is funny because hemoglobin operates in a certain way. So hemoglobin says that if there's a high concentration of oxygen, do you think that hemoglobin will simultaneously carry carbon dioxide at the same rate? Do you think that's how it's going to be? If there's a high amount of oxygen, if it has a high saturation of oxygen, right? Do you think it's also going to simultaneously have a high concentration of carbon dioxide? Do you think that?
no.
No.
No,
No.
no. Like I said, hemoglobin is special. Hemoglobin said, listen, you have to choose. It's almost like Valentine's Day, where the girl forcing you to choose. Hey, buddy, you can't have different sweethearts. You only could, it's either me or nobody. All right? So you can't have me and have everybody else. That's just like how hemoglobin is. Hemoglobin is saying, listen, if you're gonna, if I'm gonna carry oxygen, I am not going to carry carbon dioxide at a high rate. right? My affinity for carbon dioxide is going to be small. Similarly, if I have a lot of carbon dioxide, right? Do you think I'm going to have a strong affinity for oxygen? Do you think I'm going to have a strong affinity for oxygen if I'm hemoglobin?
No.
No, no. So this is basically what the curve is trying to say, right? So if you look at the curve, this is explaining saturation of hemoglobin with oxygen. As you can see, the saturation of hemoglobin, this means that we have a lot of oxygen. So a lot of oxygen here, right? And it says, which of the curves would you expect to represent the behavior of hemoglobin in the presence of what? The highest concentration of carbon dioxide. So we know it can't be 1 because this has too much oxygen, right? 1, the same line right there. Listen, it's like the peak. Like it has so much oxygen, right? So let's say that this like is 20. This has like 20, right? It has too much oxygen. There's no way in the world that this thing have all this oxygen and yet it has the highest concentration of carbon dioxide. Y'all understand that? Let me see, like there's no way that it could be peaking with oxygen because this is the peak of oxygen right now. There's no way to have a peak level of oxygen while simultaneously having the highest concentration of carbon dioxide. Does that make sense to y'all? Like it can't have both. Like if it have a high concentration of oxygen, it's not gonna have a high concentration of carbon dioxide. Does that make sense to you, Ali? And
Yeah,
and
it is.
you understand?
I could ask like if it have a reason why it
Um,
can't have.
that's I don't know the exact reason. There's probably a,
Um, it's because
a,
of cooperative binding.
a cooperative.
Okay.
That might be because like once it take one, it take yeah, she's right. Once it take one,
Mm-hmm.
it takes the other one, and takes the other one, takes the other one, takes the other one. I think that's true, right? But for some reason, it could be for cooperative binding. I could believe that. But once it take one, like once it has carbon dioxide, once it has oxygen, it's not gonna have a strong affinity for carbon dioxide. The other way around as well. So that means that. So let me go ahead and erase this. That means that in order for us to show the one that has the most carbon dioxide, it has to be the one with the least amount of what? Oxygen. So as you can see, this one has what? This one has the lowest level of what? Oxygen, right? Because this is like, let's say that this is like 15, right? This one has the lowest amount of oxygen, so therefore it's gonna have the highest amount of carbon dioxide. Because if it has a low amount of oxygen, then that means that that one that has the lowest amount of oxygen is gonna have the highest concentration of carbon dioxide. That makes sense to you all? At least a little.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I just want to add something to what it is saying, right?
Okay, go ahead.
So, just to add to what it is saying, is the reason why is because of cooperative binding. Remember, hemoglobin could hold, I think it's
4.
oxygen,
Yeah, 4.
right? Before the oxygen molecules, right? And when it binds to one, what it causes a kind of like a chain reaction. So it will easily bind to the second oxygen, the third oxygen, then the fourth oxygen. The
Yeah.
same thing with CO2, right? However, think about it, right? Most times, under like normal circumstances, we have a higher oxygen concentration in our bodies, so it will, at a normal baseline, have a higher affinity for oxygen. However, in certain situations where we would inhale carbon monoxide, or like I don't know if you always watch, I don't know, American TV shows. Sometimes you see like people, inhale carbon monoxide. It's almost irreversible in a sense because
Yeah.
of how right it binds it, and again it's something not explain it, sorry. It's basically cooperative binding over again, right? Because it have a different concentration of something else, it will quicker bind to that. But at our baseline, we quicker bind to oxygen because oxygen is always at a higher concentration. So I hope all you understand it.
Yeah, thank you, Rebecca. Actually, um, what's weird is that our body like carbon monoxide better. So, like, it's crazy because the blood has a high affinity to carbon monoxide. That's why it's so easy to get poisoned by that stuff, right? But with this one, the only idea that we need is that whatever one that has the lowest amount, let me just like put the rule there. So y'all can like get it. So for this one, the note here is that, so note, whatever graph that shows the what? The least amount of what? Oxygen, it will have what? It will have the what? Highest amount of what?
Carbon dioxide.
It'll have the highest amount of carbon dioxide. That's the idea, all right, with this question. So look for the one that has the lowest amount of oxygen, because the one that has the lowest amount of oxygen will have the highest amount of carbon dioxide. And the one that has the highest amount of oxygen will have the lowest amount of carbon dioxide. That's like how it works. Like it works like an opposite way. Does that make sense to y'all? Let me know, please, if y'all want me to explain it again or y'all get it. We good? Maria, we good? Shekinah, we good?
Yeah.
Maria? Okay. All right, good stuff. Okay, so that's the idea with this question. All right, so let's move on. So let's move on to question number 7. Okay, so question number 7 states that carbon dioxide is not transported by the blood in the form of A, hydrogen carbonate ions, B, carbonic acid, C, carbaminohemoglobin, or C, carboxyhemoglobin. Which one is it not translated in the body as in the form of?
Is it C?
C? Who said that? Leonie? Anyone else?
Leonie.
Leonie. Okay, Leonie. Anyone else?
Is it D?
Is it D? Sierra? All right.
Is that a B or C for me? I'm not
It's
sure.
either B or C. Okay, anyone else? Okay, so the correct answer is definitely gonna be um D. All right, this is just something just could look up. It's gonna be, this is the form that it's not carried in the body as carbon dioxide. It's not transported in the blood in this form, carboxyhemoglobin. That's just like a Googleable like fact. Okay, so next we have, what causes the first sound of, sorry, what causes the first heart sound after ventricle systole?
Is it C?
By the way, what is ventricular systole or systole? Like, what does that mean?
Ventricular systole is when the ventricles contract to push blood through the seminal valves.
Okay, I can accept that. That's definitely a good answer. Anyone else? What do we mean by ventricular systole? This is a very good question, because if you don't understand what is ventricular systole, then like this question wouldn't make sense. So the way I remember it is very simple. Like, so systole or systole, however you want to pronounce it, once you could spell it. So whenever you have a systole or when you have systole, that's like, in my understanding, or the way I remember it easy, is that this is just a squeeze. So think about it like a squeeze. Because you know the heart squeezes and rests, right? So this is like the squeeze of the heart, right? So that's like the easy way to remember it. So systole is a squeeze, right? That's why I think Sierra used that big word contract, right? That's like the squeeze of the heart, right? Then you have diastole. I probably spelling this wrong, but y'all got what I'm talking about, right? What is diastole? So if systole is a squeeze, what is diastole? That's gonna be what?
Is it going to be push or
No, it's not a push,
close?
not a close. So you
Pull?
have not pull. It's like, it's basically a rest. or you could say a filling, right? A filling. So systole is the squeeze, so like the squeeze of it, that's like the contraction, and diastole is basically the resting phase, or when it's filling in, all right? Like when it's filling in with blood. So that's the difference, right, between them. Like that's it's like in a simple general way, right? So good. So now we have this question. What causes the first sound after the ventricular systole? Is it closing of the semilunar valve, opening of the semilunar valve, closing of the atrioventricle valves, or opening of the atrioventricle valve? What did you expect for this one?
C, closing of the atrioventricular valves.
C.
C. Okay. We have two answers for C. Anyone else want to try? No one?
Yeah, C.
You think it's C? Okay, for the persons who say C, why y'all say C?
Because after the ventricles squeeze and push blood out of the heart, what happens to prevent backflow um, back into the atrium is the closing of the atrioventricular valves. So that is what causes the sound right after ventricular systole.
Okay. All right. So the correct answer is definitely going to be C, closing of the atrioventricle valve. Because think about it. You said it best, Rebecca. Like when the blood, when you have the squeezing of the ventricles, right? The squeezing of the ventricle is going to force blood out of, let's say, be in the left side of the heart. It's going to force blood out of the left ventricle into the aorta, right? But what we need is we need the valves to close so that the blood wouldn't come back. All right. So that's what's going to be the closing of the atrioventricle valve, which is going to be C. Okay. So that's the answer for that one. Someone well, okay, no problem, Charisma. Okay, next question number 8. Well, 9. Oh golly, I already gave it away. You all didn't see that, right? Please tell me you all didn't see that. Just say you all didn't see that.
No, I didn't see.
Okay, good. Very good. All right, what directly stimulates the sinoatrial node to increase the heart rate? Increase in temperature, release in adrenaline, high blood carbon dioxide concentration, or high blood oxygen concentration?
B.
Is it C, high carbon dioxide concentration?
Okay, so she's saying C. Anyone else? What? And anyone can answer, by the
I
way.
see
Anyone can
B.
think B.
I think C.
B as in
Thinks
boy.
B as in boy. Yeah, B as in boy. I got you. Anyone else want to try?
The
Uh,
answer is B.
D as in dog or B as in boy?
B as in boy.
B as in boy. Okay, no problem. Okay. So, anyone else want to try before we? Okay, don't be shy now. So the correct answer is definitely going to be okay. So basically, let me just help you all. So let me give you all a hint. So there's this kidney-shaped organ, right? What is the name of this kid of the kidney-shaped organ? That's kind of like a giveaway, right? It's what?
A kidney.
A
Kidney.
kidney. Yeah. So we have the kidneys. There's a gland on top of the kidneys. Right? All right. What is the name of this gland that's on top of the kidney? That will give you the answer.
Is it an adrenal? Can't remember
It's
exactly.
it's called the adrenal gland. Adrenal
Okay.
gland. Right? And where's that adrenal gland located? On top of the kidneys. So this is a gland, right? It's like a gland. Now, when you are in like flight or flight mode, it releases a what? A hormone that is going to cause the heart rate to increase, right? What's the name of that hormone? What's the name of that hormone? that cause your heart rate to increase, that cause your pupil to dilate. What's the name of that hormone that the adrenal glands produce?
Adrenaline.
Adrenaline. Yes, adrenaline. So the correct answer is definitely going to be adrenaline. All right. So the release of adrenaline is going to cause what? It's going to stimulate the sinoatrial node to increase the heart rate. And that makes sense because that's literally the job of adrenaline. Y'all ever heard like adrenaline in like movies, like adrenaline, like this person running off adrenaline? Yeah, that's literally a hormone, right? And it causes the sinoatrial node to be stimulated. All right. And not only affects the heart rate, it causes, like I said, your pupil to be dilated. It causes you to just be in your whole body to be in a frenzy and prepared for impact. All right. And so that's a good thing. And it not only causes the heart rate to increase, obviously it causes the your respiration rate to increase as well. All that because you're in a literally in a fight or fight or flight situation. Okay. Good. Any questions on this before I move on? You all good? So if there's no questions, let's move on to question number 10. Okay, next question. Question number 10 says, what causes the second heart sound after ventricular systole? By the way, like we said, what is systole? Systole is what? That's what? That is
Contraction.
contraction or squeezing.
Squeezing.
Yeah. So what causes the second heart sound after ventricular systole or systole? A, closing of the semilunar valves, opening of the semilunar valves, closing of the atrial ventricle valves, opening of the atrioventricle valves. Anyone? What causes the second heart sound after ventricular systole?
B.
B, opening of the semilunar valves. Anyone else?
C.
C, closing of the ventricular valve.
Is it A?
A, closing of the semilunar valves. Why y'all giving me different answers to this one? Anyone else? Okay, the correct answer is definitely going to be A, closing of the semilunar valves. So we're talking about heart, the second heart sound, not the first one, Rebecca, because the closing of the atrioventricular valves was the first one, right? The closing of the semilunar valve is the second one, right? Okay, so let's move on from that. So there's a diagram that comes with this, which is gonna make everything clear for you all. Okay, which is gonna explain it one step by step. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so this is a good diagram. This is what I wanted to do. So we have different parts of this that this diagram, like it's very simple. It's literally very simple, but um it's literally very, very simple, but for some people it might look weird. But it's simple, and all we need to do is break it down, right? So the first thing it says that the diagram below um, shows changes that occur in the left side of the mammalian heart during the cardiac cycle. So are we on the right side of the heart or are we on the left side of the heart? That is very important for this. So are we on the left side or are we on the right side?
Left.
We're on the left side. So that's the first part, right? So if we are on the left side, let's talk about what's on the left side, right? So let me get a good heart. See if I have a good heart there so I can show you all. So on the left side, we have different things that occur. I'm going to break down what happens so that uh, this is a good heart. So let me grab this heart and then we can explain what's happening at each point, right? So, okay. All right, so this is going to be number 10, right? Number 11, rather. Okay, so here we have this heart. So I have this heart for you all. Let's go. Okay. Let me grab this one and put it here. It's gonna be slide. What slide we on? We on number 10, right? Is he? We on this slide? No, we on this one. Okay, good. So I want it here. I want to read on the side so we can explain it step by step, right? So good. So we have the heart and we have everything else. Make sure it's like a little bigger. I'm gonna make this a little smaller so we can like follow it and see what happens in each step. Okay. So first of all, I'm just talking about the left side of the heart. So we're only talking about this side of the heart, right? So we have two sides of the heart. We have obviously the right hand side, right? And we have the left hand side. Can someone tell me what is happening or what type of blood do we expect to be on the right hand side? What type of blood is on the right hand side? How would you describe the blood on the right?
Will it be
Deoxygenated.
Deoxygenated. Very good. So blood on the right hand side is deoxygenated. So we could say low in oxygen, can we? Low in oxygen. Can we say that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now let's talk about blood on the right hand side. So blood on the right hand side, how would we describe the blood on the right hand side? I mean, not right, left hand side. How would we describe the blood on the left hand side? We'd say it's what?
Oxygenated.
Oxygenated. Very good. So we could say it's high in what? High in
Oxygen.
high in oxygen. All right. A quell, it's not a quell. Um, Ali, you with me?
Yeah, is Akil.
Akil, my bad. Akil and Leonie, you're with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you all tell me? I want to know what happened with this arrow. Like what is happening? Describe what is happening here. So I have this arrow coming from this particular structure and going out. One of y'all, either Akil or Leonie, tell me what's happening here. What's happening here? Don't be shy.
That's that's when blood flow out of the heart.
Flow out of the heart? Well, the arrow is
Yeah.
coming. The arrow
Yes.
is
Oh,
coming. The
flow
arrow is
in.
coming.
Sorry.
Okay, flow in. Good. So, like, describe more. What's happening? Like, what's happening here? So, yeah, you're right.
It,
Blood is flowing in, but what's happening
it
here?
it entering the heart.
Okay.
And then cycling through.
Okay. So, okay, where is it coming from? So,
Um,
so it's entering the heart, but where is it coming from?
the lungs,
Okay, it's coming from the lungs. What did it get from the lungs?
oxygen.
Very good. So it comes from the lungs and again oxygen, right? From the lungs. Okay. Sierra, what do we call that process in which the blood gets oxygen from the lungs? How would we describe that process? What is the name?
Oxygenation.
Oxygenation. I was looking for something else. Oxygenation is really the exact word, but okay, when the blood, let me just say it like this, when the blood goes to the lungs, it gives off something and it gets back something. What do we call that process then? That process.
Gas exchange.
Gaseous exchange.
Yeah, gas exchange, right? So it gives off carbon dioxide and it gets oxygen. And like Leonie says, it has oxygen now from the lungs and it go into the left atrium. But Leonie, where is it passing through though to get to the left atrium? Like what 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 vessel is it passing through to get to the left atrium?
Is
What,
it the vein?
okay, what's the name of the vein? That's very important. What's the name of this vein that it's passing through to get to
The
the
last pulmonary vein.
very good. The pulmonary vein. Very good. So now we have from the left pulmonary vein. Can someone tell me what is the unique thing about this pulmonary vein? What is so unique about this pulmonary vein?
It is the only vein in your body that carries oxygenated blood.
Very good. It's the only vein in the body that carries oxygenated blood. The pulmonary vein, the only vein that carries oxygenated blood. Okay, good. So far so good. Now, Aquil or Akil or Ali, maybe. I mean, that's a better thing. So the blood inside here, tell me what's happening with, let's use another arrow. So we have this here, and I have this blue arrow. What's happening here?
So the blood will be flowing from the left atrium through the bicuspid valve,
Mm-hmm.
um, and well, flowing into the left ventricle.
Mm-hmm. Very good. What type of blood is this that's flowing here?
Oxygenated.
Oxygenated. Very good. Okay, good. Cool. Now after that, we have obviously it's gonna go here and it's gonna go through here, right? So Haley, what's happening in the red arrow?
The blood is um going to the atria, it,
Mm-hmm.
aorta.
Aorta.
Yeah, aorta.
Mm-hmm. So from where?
From the left ventricle.
To the aorta, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. What is the name of the valve that it must pass through? Anyone can answer. To get into the aorta, what's the name of the valve that it must pass through to get into the aorta?
Pulmonary valve.
No, not the pulmonary valve. Not, no doubt. The
Aorta.
pulmonary, yeah, the aortic valve, but it's really a semilunar valve, right? It's the aortic valve is also a semilunar valve, right? So there's a other valve behind there. You can't see it, but there's a little valve behind here, right there, that has to pass through to get to the aorta.
The
Right?
mitral?
No, the mitral valve is this one. That's this one. That's the mitral valve or the bicuspid valve. But there's a valve behind here, which is called the aortic valve or the semilunar valve, that it must pass through to get to the aorta. That makes sense? So, Maria, where's Maria?
What was the name of the valve?
Aortic valve or semilunar valve.
Okay.
Yeah. Where's Maria? Maria, are you there? You don't want to say hello? Where's Maria Francis? Is she here? Don't be shy, Maria. We don't bite. You could say hi in the chat if you're afraid to say hi out loud. That's no problem. Okay, so cool. So now we know what's happening in the left hand side. Blood comes from the lungs. It goes to the left atrium. Well, let's describe it properly. Oxygenated blood comes from the lungs and it enters the pulmonary vein, and then it goes into the left atrium. This oxygenated blood. This blood is going to flow through the bicuspid valve from the left ventricle. It's going to flow to the left ventricle from the left atrium, and then it's going to contract, and blood is going to flow through the aortic valve into the aorta and through the whole entire body. Okay. Now, so we have several valves here. We have several valves that is important for this whole thing to work. We have let me clear all drawings. So let me clear everything. I want to show you all a better image of the heart so that y'all could be able to see it. I want y'all to see the aortic valve. I really want y'all to see that. So let's see if we could find the aortic valve here. I should have a picture about the aortic valves. Okay, so this is the aortic valve. This is it right there. This is a good picture right there. This is a very good picture. This is the aortic valve right there. Let me see if I can find another picture of it. Okay, this is also the aortic valve right there. This is a good picture of it. And do I have another good picture of the aortic valve? Oh, this is also a good one. This is also the aortic valve right there. Very good picture of it. And aortic valve right, no, aortic valve right there. And then where's another picture? I should have a better picture, like a really good one, because I want to show you all. Okay, maybe I don't have it out. Okay, so we'll just have to use that. So let's use a good one. Because I want you all to see the aortic valve when we explain this, the rest of this, right? So, okay, so let's use this diagram. This is a good diagram, yeah. So cool. So, okay, good. So let's go back here and explain it. So now we have this. This is number, we are on the same graph here. Good. So now, so here we have this graph here. So good. We can explain that using this as well. Okay, good. So now there's something that I really need you all to understand about this. What causes the valves to open and close? There's only one word I'm looking for. So,
The
like
pressure,
pressure. Who said that?
the
That
oil.
is the perfect answer. Pressure causes the valves to open and close. Explain how pressure causes the valves to open and close. Explain that for me.
Okay, so the force of the blood will allow it to pass through, but the valve is shaped in a way so it won't flow backwards.
Okay. Okay. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Um, anyone else want to try? What we really need to understand this idea of pressure. Because if you don't understand this idea of pressure, you're not going to understand this graph. Let's go back to our graph here. You're not going to understand this graph. Because something is happening at C, something is happening at D, something is happening at E, something is happening at F, right? All that has to do with pressure, right? So we need to understand what's happening at C, at D, at E, and at F, right? But that has all to do with the pressure within these valves. Okay, there are two valves we really need to pay attention to. We need to pay attention to the mitral valve or the bicuspid valve, and we need to pay attention to the aortic valve, the same one right there. All right. So, what is happening to the pressure? What causes the valves to open? What causes the valve to close? Okay, so let's start with, I'm going to use this diagram. Okay, so I'm going to use this diagram. So hopefully y'all could be able to see like it using this diagram. Let me see. Let me just, I don't want to use a blank diagram because y'all might not get it, but I want to use like a good diagram, but this one, like some of the pictures are like weird. Which I want to be able to see it, but I guess I just have to use that blank one. What is a good one? Let's use this. This is a good one. So we could use that. So we have, let's use this one. So we're not gonna use the blank one. We could use this one. Perfect. So now let's explain it. So first we are inside the left atrium. Does anyone know what this valve is? This is the what valve? Let's label it. This is this valve right there. These are two valves that we're gonna pay attention to. This is the
Bicuspid.
bicuspid valve or the mitral valve, right? And then this valve is the
Aortic.
aortic valve. These are the two valves that we're going to spend our time understanding right now. Okay, like their action. So let's assume that this valve is closed, right? If this valve is closed, what is happening in the left ventricle? So this valve is closed, what is happening in the left ventricle?
Which valve?
This valve, like what causes this valve to close? The same valve right there, mitral valve.
The left ventricle, wouldn't it be like full of blood?
Ah, so the left ventricle. So now blood, very good. I think that's Haley. So blood is coming down here, right? Blood is coming down here. And blood is collecting. Blood is being collected, right? So eventually, what's going to happen is we're going to have the left ventricle is going to what? It's going to contract. By the way, let's do it like in steps. So let's do it in steps. So we have the mitral valve. The mitral valve is going to close, right? So we're going to talk about like what causes the mitral valve to close. So number one, the left ventricle, so the left ventricle starts to what? What's that S word I use? Starts to what?
Squeeze.
It
Squeeze.
starts to squeeze, right? It starts to squeeze. I mean, you don't want to put squeeze in your exam, so we could put what? Contract, right?
Yeah, contract.
Right? Or squeeze. Right? That's what the left ventricle is going to start to do. Not all the way, but it's gonna start to squeeze, right? Now, when that happens, what is going to happen to the pressure? Remember, we're talking about pressure. If this area, let's use a let's use a grain. If this area is being squeezed, what is going to happen? What is going to happen to the pressure in this area?
It's going to increase.
It's going to increase. So the pressure in this area is going to increase or go up, right? Now, will the pressure inside the left ventricle, will it overcome the pressure in the left atrium? Like, will the pressure here be greater than the pressure here? Like when it starts to squeeze. Will the pressure
Yes.
in the, yes, it will. That's exactly what causes the mitral valve to shut. So the pressure in the left ventricle is going to increase. Why? Because when you close something, because it's gonna press together, right? When you close or when you squeeze the left ventricle, the pressure is automatically going to increase. I don't know if y'all understand that concept. Like, if you have a smaller area, you're gonna have a bigger pressure because y'all know the formula for pressure, right? Pressure is equal to what? Force over what?
Force over area.
Force over area, right? So if we have a smaller pressure, so if we have a smaller area, the force is going to be greater, or the pressure is going to be greater, I should say. If we have a large area, the pressure is going to be smaller, right? Y'all understand this concept? Like small, if you just like think about a box. If you have a big box, right? A large box, the pressure is gonna be big. I mean, the pressure is gonna be small. But if you have a little tiny, 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 tiny box and you have a bunch of water in there, the pressure is gonna be what? Bigger. So small box, big pressure. Big box, low pressure. It's the same thing like this. When the left ventricle begins to squeeze, what's going to happen to the pressure? The pressure is going to what? The pressure in the left ventricle is going to what? It's going
Start to
to
increase.
it's going to increase. Now, think about the mitral valve like a door. If you have a door, right, and the pressure inside is increasing, what's going to happen to the door? Is the door going to stay open or the door going to close shut? If you have great pressure in the front of this door,
It will close.
the door is going to close. The door has to close because all you have is pressure here. So it's going to close because it don't want to spill the blood to go back here, right? So what's going to happen? So let's write that down. So the second thing that's going to happen is that what? Ventricular pressure, or we could say pressure in the atrium becomes what? Becomes higher than what? Than atrial pressure. Or we could say, what is atrial pressure? That's what? Pressure in the what? In the atrium.
Really.
Okay? So ventricular pressure becomes higher than what? Pressure in the atrium. Does that make sense to you all so far? So what is that gonna cause? That's gonna cause what's gonna happen? That's gonna cause what? That's gonna cause the valve to what? Is number 3.
Close.
Very good.
Well,
It's
yeah.
gonna close
And
it's
then
gonna
the other
cause
valve.
very good. It's gonna
Go
cause
on,
the
go on.
valve. So let's go ahead. Number 3. So number 3 is gonna be so this forces the mitral valve to do what? To close. Okay? Because it's like a door. Like if there's a lot of pressure inside this particular area, the valve here, the mitral valve is gonna close shut. Because think about it. If you are in front of a door and you are applying pressure, you're gonna close the door. You're literally gonna close the door, right? You're gonna close the door shut. But if you're on the other side of the door and you're pushing, you're gonna push the door open. But if you're behind the door and you apply pressure, the door is gonna close. You understand that? Like that's literally the idea. So it's gonna force the valve to close. So what does that mean? This is gonna be number 4. That means that it's number 4. So number 4 is gonna be number 4 says that blood, therefore, cannot flow back to the atrium. Okay, so that's what's happening here. Okay, so Aquil, can you describe to me what causes the mitral valve to shut? Step by step, what causes the mitral valve to shut? Ali.
Okay. So all blood would flow from the atrium into the mitral valve into the ventricle.
Mm-hmm.
The left ventricle would begin to contract,
Yes.
and the pressure would increase in the ventricle, which would
Why is
result
the
in the
pressure increasing in the ventricle? Because of what?
because of the contraction of
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right. So the increase in pressure would cause the valves to close.
Mm-hmm. And what's the purpose of that?
To prevent backflow of blood into the
Very,
atrium.
very good, to prevent the backflow of blood. All right. So that's what's happening here. We have an increase in pressure, and that increase in pressure is causing the mitral valve to close shut. All right. Because of the squeeze, this valve is going to, because of the squeeze, increase in pressure, and the valve is going to shut down. That's what causes the mitral valve to close shut. Now, so we got that, right? I could move these 4 points. Can I move them? Now we need to talk about the aortic valve. We can talk about the aortic valve. So while, can I move this? Can I move this? Y'all good? Can I move this? Can I move these? Are y'all good? Let me know if I can move it. Charisma, I can move it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So now let's talk about the aortic valves. So the aortic valves. So while all this happening, what is the aortic valve? Is the aortic valve open or closed? While all this is happening.
Start to open.
Well, at this point now, before this shut, what is the aortic valve? Is it open or closed? Before the mitral valve closes shut, how would you describe the aortic valve?
Well, it will be closed too. It will be
Yeah,
closed.
yeah, it would be closed, right? So what is going to cause it to open? What's going to
The
cause it
rise
to
in the
open?
pressure from the left ventricle when it
Yes,
contracts,
yes,
it
yes,
will rush the
definitely,
blood through the
eh,
valve.
definitely. Because pressure inside here is almost like a door. Like you in a, now think about a door and you behind the door. If you behind the door and you push the door open, it's literally you're gonna push. There's like a valve. You push the door open and then and it open wide, right? So what happens? What causes the aortic valve to open? Well, number one, the ventricle keeps on squeezing, right? So the ventricle keeps on squeezing. It didn't stop squeezing, right? So what's going to happen to the pressure inside the left ventricle if it keep on squeezing? So the first squeeze and the mitral valve closes shut because of obviously the ventricle pressure is higher than the atrial pressure. But now it's going to keep on squeezing and the ventricular pressure is going to be higher than what? The pressure in where? So the ventricular pressure is going to becomes higher. Pressure becomes higher than what? Than what pressure? Than the pressure where?
Any left atrium.
Not atrium. We ain't comparing this no more. The pressure here in the ventricle already higher than this. That's what causes the mitral valve to close.
It would be higher than the pressure in the aorta itself.
Definitely. The pressure, the ventricular pressure becomes higher than aortic pressure. Right? And what does that cause? When the ventricular pressure becomes higher than the aortic pressure, what does that cause? This what?
The
Pushes.
opening of the
It
valve.
would
Very good. It pushes the aortic valve what? Open or close?
open.
Open, right? And so blood, this is number 4, blood is what? Ejected into the aorta. Because why? The pressure in the ventricle becomes so high, so the pressure in the ventricle becomes so high, it even exceeds the pressure in the aorta. So it pushes the aortic valve open and blood begins to rush through the aorta. Right? All right. Does that make sense to you all? So by the way, if we look at the diagram, where's ejection? So let's say blood is ejected into the aorta. If we look at this diagram, where is it showing ejection of blood? That's gonna be where? That's definitely gonna be, I don't know if y'all could see it, but it's gonna be here. This is ejection of blood right there. This is ejection of blood. Because what is at its peak? The ventricular what? Ventricular, what is at its peak?
Systole.
Pressure.
Ventricular pressure. The pressure is at its peak, and this is talking about the pressure in the ventricle, right? So the pressure here is at its peak. And so that's why we have the ejection of blood in the aorta, all right? Okay, cool. So, good. Where is, Haley, can you explain what causes the aortic valve to open? Well, yeah, the aortic valve to open.
Okay, so like from it flowing to the like where to start from it being the
Start
left
from,
ventricle.
start from the left ventricle, yeah.
Okay, so because the pressure in the left ventricle is so high, it would
Mm-hmm,
force the aortic valve open,
mm-hmm.
and therefore the blood will be able to flow, or as you say, be ejected into the aorta.
Right, very good. I want a particular part. The pressure in the ventricle becomes higher than the pressure where?
Oh, the pressure in the left ventricle would be more than the pressure in the aorta.
Very good. That is very important whenever you're explaining these things, right? So what causes the mitral valve to close shut? The pressure in the left ventricle becomes higher than the pressure in the left atrium. So that causes the mitral valve to close. The pressure continues to rise. And so the pressure in the left ventricle becomes so much that it becomes higher than the pressure in the aortic valve. And that's what's going to cause the aortic valve to shut. I mean, to open. So everything, listen, the valves doesn't have any sensing mechanism. The valve is not like, the valve doesn't have eyes, the valve doesn't have ears, the valve doesn't have nose. So how does the valve know when to open and close? It's one word. It's what? How does the valve know when to open and close?
The difference in the pressures.
The pressure. So the pressure tells the whole story. That's how the valve know how to open and the valve know how to close. All right. Leonie, can you tell me how does the aortic valve open?
It opened due to the pressure of the left ventricle squeezing to push it up to
Okay.
the aorta.
Very good. Very good. So the pressure in the left ventricle becomes higher than the pressure where?
The pressure in the left ventricle becomes high in the left atrium.
I'm talking about the aortic valve. What causes it to
Right.
open? The pressure in the left ventricle becomes higher than the pressure where?
In the aorta.
In the aorta. Let's try that one more time. What causes the aortic valve to open? The pressure in the left ventricle becomes higher than what?
The pressure in the aorta.
Very good. So that causes this aortic valve to
Open.
open. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So let's move on to the next part. So the aortic valve, so it's going to open, but then the aortic valve is going to close, right? So what is going to cause the aortic valve to close? So now, remember we say pressure is so high, it's gushing, doom, and then the blood is going to go past, it's going to push this valve open, and the blood is going to go through here, and then boom, 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 going to go through all the body, right? But eventually, this aortic valve is going to close. What causes this aortic valve to close? Right? Something is happening to cause this aortic valve to close. So let's describe that. Go ahead, tell me what you think.
I was going to say the pressure reduces when the pressure gain in the mitral valve.
Okay. Say it again.
I said the pressure in when the pressure in the mitral valve is higher than the pressure in the aortic valve.
Okay. Well, we don't want to compare the aortic valve and say it again when the pressure in the mitral valve is higher than the pressure in the
What was the question?
I'm saying what would cause the aortic valve to shut? Because eventually this is gonna obviously it's gonna open and blood is gonna pass through. But what causes this valve here to shut, to close?
Oh, would that not be when the blood flows through, therefore it will have a less volume in the left ventricle, therefore
Therefore,
having a lower pressure. So that will cause
exactly.
the valve to shut to prevent the backflow of the blood back into the left ventricle.
Very good. Well said. So basically, so remember this has a lot of pressure, but eventually the pressure, do you think the pressure in the left ventricle is gonna stay high forever? Is it gonna stay high forever and ever and ever, amen?
No.
No, right? So eventually this pressure in the left ventricle is going to be lowered, right? Eventually. So when that pressure is lowered, then what happens? Obviously the aortic valve is going to close. So let's describe that. So now we're going to describe the aortic valve. Aortic valve closes. Okay, aortic valve closes. So what causes the aortic valve to close? Number one, the ventricle. You think the ventricle is going to keep on contracting? No, the ventricle stops what? The ventricle stops squeezing and starts to what? Remember we said that
Correct.
we said systole is what?
A
Systole is
contract.
squeezing or contraction. Diastole is what?
To rest.
To rest or filling. So the ventricle is saying, listen, I ain't gonna be squeezing all day, right? I need to relax. So the ventricle stops squeezing and starts to what? Relax. Now, when the ventricle starts to relax, what's happening to the pressure inside the ventricle? So now we're gonna do it the opposite way. What happens to the pressure in the ventricle?
It is reduced.
It's reduced. Very good. So the pressure now, so the pressure in the ventricle is not gonna be the same no more. The pressure is going to be reduced. It's gonna go down. All right. So the pressure in here is going to be lower or lowered. All right. Now, if it now when the pressure in the ventricular pressure falls below, let me ask you a question. When this pressure is lower, right? Which one is gonna be higher? The aortic pressure or the ventricular pressure? When it's during the relaxed state. Is the ventricular pressure going to be higher or lower than the aortic pressure? What do you think?
Lower.
It's going to be lower, right? So ventricular pressure falls what? Below what? Aortic pressure. And what happens? What happens? Blood
Blood begins to fill the left ventricle.
blood in the aorta tries to flow back. Tries to flow back. But what's going to stop it? The
The
aortic,
aortic valve.
the aortic valve, what? Closes, right? The aortic valve closes. Okay? So whenever the ventricular pressure is lower than the aortic pressure, then the aortic valve is going to close. Whenever the ventricular pressure is higher than the aortic pressure, the valve is going to
Open.
open. Do you all understand the difference between that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sierra, can you break that down for us? What we just explained? Whenever the whatever you could take it away.
So when the ventricle goes into diastole and it stops squeezing to relax, the ventricular pressure starts to fall below the aortic pressure. So that means the blood in the atria will try to flow back into the ventricle to increase the pressure. So that's why the aortic valve closes, so it will prevent the backflow of blood.
Very good. Very good. It prevents the backflow of blood. And and because the the pressure in the left ventricle is lower than the pressure in the aortic, and if the pressure in the aorta, the valve is going to close shut. All right? Good. So now we have the aortic valve closing. So we have the aortic valve closing. Next, do you think the mitral valve is going to open back again? Because remember, this closed, so blood already went through, but is the mitral valve going to open back again?
Yes.
Yes, the mitral valve is going to open back again. What causes the mitral valve to open?
The contraction of the atrium.
The pressure, which two pressure? Pressure in blank or pressure in blank? What causes the mitral valve to open again?
The increase in pressure in the left atrium.
The increase in pressure in the left atrium versus what? Because remember, it's a comparison. The increase in pressure in this compared to what?
The decrease in pressure in the left ventricle.
Very good. Very good. Very good. So now let's talk about the mitral valve opening, right? Can I move this? Can I move this part? We good?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we have the mitral valve is going to open. Now, why does the mitral valve open? Well, the ventricle relaxes even what? Even more. And what's going to happen? The ventricular pressure falls what? Below the arterial pressure. So the ventricular pressure. So the pressure is getting even lower because again, it's in its relaxed state. So ventricular pressure falls below atrial pressure. When we say atrial pressure, what does atrial pressure mean? What does atrial pressure mean?
Pressure from the atrium.
Very good. Pressure in the atrium. Right? Pressure in the atrium. And then what does that cause? It causes help me, causes the mitral valve to what?
Open.
To open. Very good. And then this is what? This is ventricular filling, or what we call diastole. Okay? And that's all you need to know. That's literally all you need to know. Once you understand this, you can understand the graph. Okay? So, Ali, what's happening to cause the mitral valve to open? Ali? That's Ali. Kind of from Ali. So let's go with charisma. What's causing the mitral valve to open?
Okay, so the ventricle then starts to relax even more. So
Mm-hmm.
therefore, the pressure will fall below the pressure that is in the atrium, causing the mitral valve to open.
Mm-hmm. Very
So
good.
therefore, the ventricular diastole will happen after.
Very, very good. Very good. Okay, good. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna let us do like a little quiz on this. Um so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna do like a quiz just to test our understanding what's happening, and then we're gonna go to explaining what's happening exactly in this diagram. All right. So let me go ahead and I'm gonna put the link in the chat as well so we could be able to get it. All right. So let me see here. Um, Second. So I have to pull it up on this computer. So clear all drawings. Let me know if y'all could still see my screen, please. So we had work. Some of you have already done this before with me. If you're new, then you just have to like just get the QR code. And so let me go ahead and pull it up on the screen for us, and then we can move on with it. But it's gonna be like a good little quiz just to test our understanding of everything that we've been discussing about the different parts, pressure, and all that stuff. Right. Just let us think. Load up this man that has been slow right now. Hopefully it pulls up. If not, we'll have to probably just have to send you the actual quiz because this, let's see. Okay, good. It's filling up right now. Give me one moment. We just load this up. We should be good. All right, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Okay. I can start sharing my screen now. Okay, good. All right, still loading. Not good internet. Oh gosh. All right, good. It's up. All right, so let's come to our library. Come on, code. Come on. Okay, there we go. There we go. Good. All right. Cool. All right, so the way how it works is that I'm going to put the link inside the chat, and you click on the link, or you could just click on the QR code and you could join, and then we could do the quiz. All right. All right, thank you, Charisma. Charisma is here. Still waiting on the rest of us. Aquil, very good, Aquil. So far, we have Charisma and Aquil. Rest of us, y'all have slow internet like me. Sierra, very good, Sierra. Very good, Rebecca. Thank you. So Rebecca, Sierra, Quill, Charisma. Where's the rest of us? Who we missing? Okay, we have Leonie. Haley, you joining? Haley and Shekinah. We're waiting on y'all. Okay, we have Shekinah.
Hold on, I joined, but oh gosh, the internet moving so
Yeah, okay, we can wait on you. We can wait on you. So what we doing is waiting on Haley, and then we can get started, right? By the way, while we wait, are all of y'all in G1 or G2?
Group 2.
So everyone there in group 2?
Yeah, group 2.
Group 2? So no one there in group 1?
Yeah, I'm in group 2.
Group 2. Okay, good. So whoever wins, whenever you see me, because some of you, I don't know your faces like that, but whenever you see me and you know it's me, I'll give you a prize. If you know, because I wouldn't know. Just say your name and I'll know. And the voice gives it away too. Because a lot of people in G2. We still waiting on Haley because I know she want to participate. And so when she comes, then we can start. There we go. All right. So the way how it works, let me just tell you how it works is that number one, you have to be quick. If you're not quick, then it's not gonna give you the best points. The second thing is that you look on my screen for the questions and you look at your phone or your device for the selection. So it's gonna be like blocks. And so it's gonna be like a square, red, whatever color. And that's how you identify the correct answer, like based on the block, based on whatever block or color it is. So you click that on your screen, and then on my screen, it's just going to be the question. All right. So let's go. So first question states, you're obviously mastering cardiac cycle. Good. The first question is, when is the ventricle relaxed? When is the ventricle relaxed? Is it egestion, systole, contraction, or diastole? When is the ventricle relaxed? Relaxed. All right. When is the ventricle relaxed? All right. Very good. The ventricle is relaxed when diastole. All right. Good stuff, guys. Let's see the leaderboard. All right, Charisma. Very good. All right. Next. Number 2. During diastole, ventricular pressure is highest, lower than the atrial, high, equal to aortic. During diastole, ventricular pressure is highest, lower than atrial, high, equal to aortic. Very good, lower than atrial. Very good. Next. All right. Okay. Very good, guys. Very good. All right, number 3. Why does blood enter the left ventricle? Why does blood enter the left ventricle? Is it because atrial pressure is higher, aortic valve is open, strong atrial contraction, or ventricle highest? Well, why does blood enter the left ventricle? All right. Atrial pressure higher. That makes sense. You all know why, right? You all understand why it's atrial pressure higher? Because if blood is entering the left ventricle, wait, first of all, do you all understand why this one is the correct answer before I go explain it? For those of you all understand why it's this one?
Yeah.
Okay, why Leonie, explain it to us. Why it is
Um,
that?
because when it entering the left ventricle, the pressure is higher to enter the aorta.
So basically, the atrial pressure is the pressure in the atrium. When that pressure is high, it basically could push the doors of the mitral valve open so they could run into the left ventricle. All right? So that's why. So when atrial pressure is higher than ventricular pressure, obviously that's going to cause the mitral valve to open because the pressure coming from the atrium is going to push the doors of the mitral valve or the tricuspid valve open, right? So that's why. So hopefully y'all get that. All right, very good, guys. Let's move on. Which valve opens for filling? Which valve opens for filling? Which valve opens for filling? Yeah, mitral valve. But mitral valve and let's see. Let me see something. Yeah, mitral valve. It's not the tricuspid valve because tricuspid valve is on the other side, right? So number 2 is correct. Very good, guys. Very good. Okay, next we have, no problem, Haley. And diastole boost comes from, ventricle contraction, atrial contracts, aortic opens, aortic backflow. And the diastole boost comes from ventricle contracts, atrial contraction, aortic opens, aortic backflow. Very good, atrial contraction. Next. So that everyone stays the same. Okay, cool. Number 6. Ventricular systole starts when, so the systole, this is contraction. Ventricular systole starts when, begins contraction. Ventricular systole starts when it begins contraction, relaxes, finishes, yeah, you're right, begins contracting. Very good, guys. Okay, next. Why does the mitral valve close? This one is easy. Why does the mitral valve close? This one is easy. Everyone should get this. Why does the mitral valve close? Definitely the ventricular pressure is higher. Very good, guys. Very good. Very good. Boy, everybody's switching up. Aquil, feeling good at the top. He's the only male here besides me, and he's doing pretty well. Mitral closure prevents backflow to. Mitral closure prevents backflow to the ventricle, aorta, atrium, or leaving heart. Mitral closure prevents backflow to the ventricle, aorta, atrium, or leaving heart. Definitely atrium. That's correct. Atrium. Very good. Okay, number 9. Aortic valves opens when ventricular higher, atrium contracts, ventricular lower, aortic higher. Aortic valve opens when ventricular higher, atrium contracts, ventricular lower, aortic higher. Definitely when the ventricular is higher. Because when the ventricular valve is, when the ventricular has a high pressure, it's going to push the aortic valve open. So yeah. Okay, so everyone, I guess, stays the same. Okay, next. Number 10. Opening aortic valve causes what? Mitral open, blood to ventricle, into atrium, into aorta. This one is easy. Opening aortic valve causes, yeah, it causes the blood to enter the aorta. Very good, guys. Oh, wow. Number 11. Which phase favors passive filling? Which phase favors passive filling? Oh, wow. Rapid ejection, late systole, isovolumic contraction, early diastole. Yeah, early diastole. All right. Very good, guys. Next, 12 of 19. Isovolumic contraction means pressure falls, volume increases, valve all open, volume is constant. I don't think we did this one. We didn't do isovolumic contractions, right? But hopefully y'all know that from
No,
class.
we didn't.
Okay. It is volume is constant. The volume is constant during isovolumic contractions. Okay. Guess everyone the same. Which event follows the atrial kick? Pulmonary ejection, aortic closing, ventricle systole, mitral opening. Which event follows the atrial kick? Pulmonary ejection, aortic closing, ventricle systole, or mitral opening. Yeah, ventricle systole. Everyone stays the same? Okay. During diastole, during systole, the mitral valve is, remember systole is squeezing. So what happened to the mitral valve? Closed, partly open, leaky, open wide. This one is easy. Yeah, close. Okay. Number 15. Pressure gradient driving filling is atrium to ventricle, aorta to atrium, aorta to ventricle, ventricle to atrium. Yeah, this one is easy. Pressure, yeah, atrium to ventricle. Very good, guys. Which side has a bicuspid valve? Which side has a bicuspid valve? Pulmonary side, right heart, left heart, systemic veins. Which side has the bicuspid valve? Pulmonary side, definitely gonna be the left heart. Very good, guys. Almost done. Systole primarily equals contraction, diastole, relaxation, filling. Systole primarily equals contraction, diastole, relaxation, or filling. What does systole mean? Very good. Contraction. Very good, guys. 18. Double points. True or false? Aortic opens during diastole. Aortic opens during diastole. True or false? Aortic opens during diastole. False. Oh, wow. Sierra, you're evil. You're an evil person. Where's Sierra? Where's Sierra? Where's Sierra? Where's Sierra? Where she is?
Yeah, I'm right here.
You're evil. Aquila had the lead all the while. You couldn't let him have it? I'm sure Aquil, watch this.
Yeah.
Aquil, you're coming for vengeance, right? You ain't gonna have this one. All right, let's see. I think this is like the last question, eh? Double points. Where does ejected blood go? Where does ejected blood go? Where does ejected blood go? All right, it goes to the aorta. All right, let's see who got it. Let's check the podium. Oh, very good, Leonie. Very good. Very good. Wow, very good, Aquil. Very good, Sierra. Good job, guys. Good job. You all did pretty well. And Charisma and Shekinah. Very good, man. And who else? Who else also played? The rest of us who also played very good, guys. Okay, good. So hopefully you'll have at least a understanding in some small way of of these things, right? So now let's go ahead and do the chart. So let's move this. By the way, Sierra, whenever you see me in class, I have something for you. All right. Just let
Okay,
me
no
know.
problem.
Just let me know. All right.
I
So
have a question.
go ahead, Haley.
So, like, my internet was kind of breaking up. I think Ali was talking about who or what groups everybody was in for bio, I think.
Yeah. What group you in?
Well, I'm in group one.
Oh, you're in group 1 with Miss Jolly.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Sometimes I just go to the group two lectures too.
Lectures? Yeah. 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 Charisma. That has happened. Like that's why with these things, it's like, um, sometimes when you have to answer quick, it's like I don't like questions like that. I like to take my time and stuff, um, but it happens, so that's still good. Um, so okay, so let's go ahead and label these diagram, this part of the diagram. So what is A, what is B, what is C, and all that stuff, right? So I think that's the question said. The question says, um, okay, good. So the first thing is we have to figure out what is state the terms used for period A and for period B. So state the terms used for period A and for period B. What do we call period A? What do we call period B?
Is
Period A.
period A systole and is period B diastole?
What types? A word comes before that. A word comes before
Oh,
that.
A would be the atrial systole, and then B would be the ventricular diastole.
Okay, so you are right. B is the ventricular diastole, but it's the same word in front of it. So it's not different words. So it's the same word. So B is
Oh,
definitely
because we're on the left. Oh,
B. Yeah, we say you're on the left. Remember, this is the left side of the heart. So B is the ventricular diastole. What is A?
So then that would be the ventricular systole.
Yes, that's correct. So let's go ahead and so that's like literally the answer. So let me see if I have it there. Yeah, so A is the ventricular systole and B is the ventricular diastole. Remember, it's the same thing, and they gave us answer here. Period A, the left ventricular pressure is high, and the blood is being forced into the aorta. We know that, right? We know that's what it means. So if you look at this here, the pressure is high or low. The pressure in the ventricle is high or low. It's what?
the pressure is high.
The pressure is high, right? And we would expect that to be the contraction, right? You up with me? Like if the left ventricle is contracting, what's happening to the pressure? The pressure is what? What's happening?
Increasing.
The pressure is increasing, right? So this definitely is going to be the ventricular systole. But as you can see, the pressure went all the way down in this section, right? It went all the way down. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? That tells you that we're in contraction or we're in relaxation. Where are we? We're in where? Con
So which one? B?
for B. Remember B, the pressure is all
B
the
would
way
be
down
relaxation.
in relaxation, right? Leonie and Aquil, do y'all understand that? For B, y'all understand B and
Yeah.
A?
Yeah.
You understand? Okay, good. So this is ventricular, um, this ventricular systole, and this is ventricular diastole, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and finish this up. So we have to figure out what happens at C, what happens at D, what happens at F. So here we have it. They said explain what happens at C, what happens at D, what happens at E, what happens at F. So what I'm gonna do here, right, is I'm going to the easiest way to show you all what happens at these things is that I'm gonna show you a diagram and I want you to like fill it out. All right. So in the chat, I'm gonna show you two diagrams. The diagrams is gonna have the answer. All right. So I want you to compare what you see in both diagrams. My bad, sorry. I want you to compare what you see in both diagrams and I want you to put inside the chat what you think both of them are. All right. So again, compare what you see in the diagram and tell me what each letter is. All right. So again, you're gonna tell me, just tell me the name of it. Tell me what C is, what D is, what E is, and what F is. So let me make a highlight of that. What C is, what D is, what E is, and what F is. All right. So I'm gonna give you the diagram and you're gonna put inside the chat, based on this diagram, what is happening here. What is C, what is D, what is E, and what is F? So you can put inside the chat now. All right. What is happening based? So you have these two diagrams you could compare. You have C, you have D, you have E, and you have F. What is C? What is D? What is E? And what is F? So put your hands inside the chat for me. Again, just look at these two diagrams. Look at them and compare them and tell me what you get. Again, what is C? What is D? What is E? What is F? We already know that A is ventricular systole. We already know that B is ventricular diastole. We already know that. But what is C? What is D? What is E? And what is F? All right. So you have to tell me what's happening there. All right. So tell me what y'all think. Again, put your answers inside the chat for me. What is C? So look at this diagram. What is C? What is D? What is E? And what is F? And put your answers inside the chat. Okay. Do that for me. So I'll be right there waiting. See what y'all put. Let me see which someone answered. Let me see what y'all put so far. Okay, good. Someone answered already. Someone putting something. Good. So just put your answers inside the chat. I'll be right there. Tell me what you get. All right. Compare the two diagrams. What is C? What is D? What is E? And what is F? Okay. So compare them. Again, what is C? What is D? What is E? And what is F? When you compare them, when you compare the two diagrams, they're literally basically identical. Okay. They're basically identical. Again, what is C? What is D? What is E? What is F? Look at the diagram and compare the two. Okay, again, look at the diagram and compare the two for me. Again, what is C? What is D? What is E? And what is F? So put your answers inside the chat for me, please. I see in persons answering. Again, put your answers inside the chat for me. Thank you, Haley. Thank you, Sierra. Thank you, Leonie. Okay, persons are still putting their answers in. So I'm going to give you all a chance to do that. Okay, what is C? What is D? What is E? What is F? All right, put your answers in there for me. Again, what is C? What is D? What is E? What is F? Okay. What is C? What is E? What is D? What is E? What is F? All right, let me see what y'all have. Let's check it. Okay. Aquil, you ain't put nothing inside the chat? You still thinking it? Uh, Ali, I ain't see you have anything inside the chat.
Well, I didn't put anything. I'll figure everybody else with that. I'll put it. I'll put it.
Are you lost or you just was waiting until everyone
Um,
put their...
yeah, no, I know. I know what they are. Yeah,
You know where they are. Okay.
yeah.
You know where they are. Okay, good. All right, so let's do it step by step. What y'all have for C? What do y'all have for C? C is gonna be what?
C is The
C is what?
is the closing of the aortic valve.
Not the aortic valve. Based on the diagram, C is the closing of what?
Sorry, not aortic, is the atrial, would it be the atrial ventricular valve?
Yes. Just so you could say, just say the AV valve. So the atrioventricle valve. That's what C is. C is the closing of the atrioventricle valve. Do you all have that for C? So C is the closing of the atrioventricle valve. We good? Let me know. You all got it? So C is the closing of the atrioventricle valve. What is D? D is what? What is D? What's happening at D?
D would be the opening of the aortic valves.
Very good. D would be the opening of the aortic valve. What is happening at E? What's happening at E?
E was the closing of the aortic valve.
Very good. E is the closing of the aortic valve. What happened at F? What's happening at F?
And then F would be the opening of the AV valve.
And the AV valve is the ventricular valve. Let me ask you all a question. Since we're in the left side of the heart, what do we call the atrioventricle valve? We're in the left side of the heart now. What is the atrioventricle valve? Since we're in the left side of the heart. These two valves there. We're in the left side of the heart. What's another name for the ventricular valve? What is that? Anyone can answer? Remember, we are on the left side of the heart. There's only two valves that we have. We have the mitral valve and we have the aortic valve. So, what is the atrioventricular valve in the left side of the heart? What we call a left valve?
Is it the mitral valve?
That's the mitral valve. So don't mind them saying AV valve closes, AV valve closes. We know what the AV valve is. The AV valve is the mitral valve, or that's the bicuspid valve. Does that make sense, Charisma, to you? Or are you lost? Charisma?
Yeah, I'm here. So is the bicuspid.
It's bicuspid. That makes sense to you, right? Or
Yeah.
okay. So, okay, cool. So let's go ahead and do it. Leonie, tell me what is C, D, and E, and F?
Well, CBV, COPD, valve closing,
Which valve?
the aorta.
Not the
So,
aorta. It's this valve, right?
yeah,
What do we call this valve?
EV. I'm not sure. I think you drive.
That's the atrioventricular valve, right? Now, the atrioventricular valve is just a mitral valve. Okay? So you have the aortic valve and you have the atrioventricular valve. The atrioventricular valve on the left-hand side is just the mitral valve or the bicuspid valve. All right? So let's do it again. Leonie, what happens at C?
The atrial ventricular valves closes.
What's another name for the atrioventricular valve in the left-hand side?
I'm not sure.
Okay, let me write that down for you. So let's go back here. So you see this valve right there? What is this valve?
Human. It's our M.
Yeah, mitral valve.
Mitral, right.
or the bicuspid valve? This is what we call this the atrioventricular valve. So when you see AV valve, that's what we mean. We're talking about this one. That makes sense to you?
Yes.
You sure? So what is
Yeah,
the AV valve?
the AV valve is the mitral valve or the
Very good.
yeah,
Or the atrioventricular
right,
valve.
valve.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Sierra, what would we call the atrioventricular valve on the right hand side?
We call it the tricuspid valve.
That's correct. We call that the tricuspid valve, right? So on the left hand side, we call it the bicuspid valve, the atrioventricular valve, and on the right hand side, we call it the tricuspid valve, right? So let's go back here. So let's go again. Leonie, what is C? What does C
C will
represent?
be the bicuspid valve.
What
If
is
I'm
happening?
pronouncing it right.
Yeah, what is happening in the bicuspid valve at C?
It is closing.
Very good. What's happening at D?
And D, the aortic valve is opening.
Very good. What's happening at E?
E, the aortic valve will close.
Very good. What's happening at F?
I'm not sure about that one.
It's the same thing. It's the same one. It's the
Well,
same valve.
the bicuspid valve will be opening again.
Very good. So we call it the atrioventricular valve or the bicuspid valve. Both of them is the same thing. That makes sense? So let me go ahead and write that down for you. So the name that we call it is, so the AV valve, if anyone want to write it down, let me say AV valve, right? That is basically the atrioventricular valve. And that is, on the left-hand side, the bicuspid valve. All right? The bicuspid valve. Or we say that's the mitral valve. All right? Okay, that makes sense to y'all? Let me know if y'all get it.
Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. And so, cool. Okay, so now we have that. Ali, what is C, D, E, and F?
Is is it the same graph we're looking at?
The same graph, yeah, yeah.
Um, so C would be the AV valve closing.
Hmm.
D would be the aortic valve opening.
Yes,
Right. E would be aortic valve close. And
yes.
and F would be the AV valve open.
Very good. Very good. Cool. What is another word for the AV valve, Ali?
The mitral or the bicuspid valve.
Very good. Very good. Very good. All right, so cool. Now let's explain what's happening. Can someone explain to me? Okay, so first of all, let's deal with what these lines mean. So this red line, right? What is the red line referring to? What is the red graph referring to? Can someone tell me what is the red graph? When you see the red line, what is that talking about? What is the red graph referring to? Someone have it highlighted right now. What is the red graph referring to? Y'all don't be shy. What is the red graph referring to? This red line. Y'all don't know? This red line.
The pressure.
Okay, the pressure. Pressure where?
In the ventricle.
In the ventricle. Very good. Sierra, what is the red line referring to?
Ventricular pressure.
Ventricular pressure. Very good. And charisma, what is the red line referring to? Charisma. And Haley, what is the red line referring to?
Ventricular pressure.
Very good, ventricular pressure. Then we have this line right here, this dotted line, that goes right here, the same one. What is this dotted line here? What is that talking about?
Atrial pressure.
Atrial pressure. But when we say atrial pressure, what is atrial pressure? That is what? Pressure where?
In the atrium.
Very good, pressure in the atrium. And we have this line, this dotted line here. Ali, what is this referring to? This line, this dotted line right there, what is that referring to?
That's aortic pressure.
Aortic pressure. Very good. So at C, what is happening? So let's go ahead and explain what's happening at C. Then I'll let y'all go. So at C, can you see that the ventricular pressure is bigger, that finally gets bigger than the atrial pressure? Can y'all see that? The ventricular pressure gets bigger than the atrial pressure. Y'all see that? Now, what
Yes.
happens when the ventricular pressure gets bigger than the atrial pressure? What happens when the ventricular pressure gets bigger than the atrial pressure? What's going to happen? Remember, let's go back to the heart diagram. When the ventricular pressure gets bigger than the atrial pressure, what's going to happen to the mitral valve? It's going to what?
Close.
The mitral valve will close. And that's why this valve closes. You all understand that? Because this pressure, the ventricle pressure, exceeds the what? Atrial pressure. So the valve is going to close. To prevent what? To prevent the
The
backflow
backflow
of
of the blood.
the backflow of blood. Do you all understand what's happening at C? You all understand what's happening at C? We good? So ventricular pressure finally gets bigger than atrial pressure, causing the mitral valve to close. Now we have, this is aortic pressure. So the ventricular pressure continues to increase because there's a squeezing, right? There's a squeezing. And so, because we are in the what? We're in the systole period, right? We're in the contraction period. So here, the ventricular pressure continues to increase, so much so that what does the ventricular pressure exceed? It exceeds with pressure. It finally exceeds with pressure. It finally exceeds with pressure.
Atrial pressure.
It exceeds with pressure.
The aortic.
It exceeds the aortic pressure. So when the ventricular pressure gets bigger than the aortic pressure, what's going to happen to the aortic valve?
The aortic valve would open.
The aortic valve would open. Very good. The aortic valve would open. Now, when the aortic valve opens, then obviously what's going to happen with the blood? The blood is going to what? Eject, right? That's ejection, right? Y'all with me? Ejection is going to happen because blood is now going into where? Where's
Into
blood
the aorta.
into the aorta. But is the pressure, the ventricular pressure, is it going to stay up forever? Is it going to stay up forever? Is the
No,
ventricle?
it
No,
would eventually drop
it
as
would
all the
eventually
blood
drop.
starts to go into the aorta.
Very good. When the aortic pressure drops below, when the ventricular pressure drops below the aortic pressure, what's going to happen to the aortic valve? The aortic valve is going to do what? When the ventricular pressure goes below the aortic pressure, what's going to happen to the aortic valve?
It will close.
Aortic valve close.
It will close. Very good. And the ventricular pressure continues to go low, so much so that the ventricular pressure gets lower than the mitral pressure. So what's going to happen to the, not the mitral pressure, it gets lower than the pressure in the atrium. And what happens when the ventricular pressure gets lower than the atrial pressure? What's going to happen to the the mitral valve? It's going to what?
It's going to open.
It's going to open. And the cycle is going to continue again. All right. Is this making a little more sense? Maybe not totally, but at least a little more sense. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Okay, so we have
Can
to
you repeat the last question? Because like I
the
barely hear the last question you're saying.
okay, so the last thing I said is that the pressure, the ventricular pressure, is gonna be lower than the atrial pressure. That's this right here. The ventricular pressure is gonna be lower than the atrial pressure, and that's gonna cause the mitral valve to open. Because the pressure inside the atrium is going to be bigger than the pressure inside the ventricle. So the valve is going to push open, allowing blood to go inside the left atrium. That's this point right there. It gets low. All right. So once you remember your heart, remember that whenever the ventricular pressure is bigger than the left atrium pressure, this is going to close. Whenever the left atrium pressure is bigger than the left ventricle, this is going to open. Whenever the ventricle pressure is higher than the aortic pressure, then the aortic valve is going to open. Whenever the aortic pressure is higher than the ventricular pressure, then the aortic valve is going to close. All right? That's all you have to remember. The yin and yang with those things. And then once you get that, you'll be able to understand what's happening in the left atrium and be able to understand very readily what's happening with this graph. Okay? So hopefully this helped a little. Our time is over. I don't want to keep you all any longer. But thank you all for coming and always stopping by. I'll see you all next week. All the best with your all things biology. All right? So take care, everyone. See you soon.
Bye.
Yeah, man. Take care.
Hi everyone. See you
Okay,
next
bye.
Saturday.
Yes, take care. Take care, everyone. All right.